Thank you for browsing page 121. Today in the Dungeon Master's Guide, we have a Helm of Underwater Action. I just thought this should be on a G.I. Joe or something. I don't know. There's something about the name itself. Underwater Action. I don't know. I like the name. When the helm is viewed, it is indistinguishable from a normal helmet, but detection will reveal it as magical, and the possessor will be able to both see and breathe underwater. Visual properties of the helm are activated when small lenses are drawn across the device from compartments on either side of the helmet. They allow the wearer to see 5 times farther than normal water and light conditions allow for normal human vision. Note that weeds, obstructions, etc. will block vision in the normal manner. If the command word is spoken, the Helm of Underwater Action creates a globe of air around the wearer's head and maintains it until the command word is spoken. Thus, the wearer can breathe freely. Neat item. I've given this out a few times. Actually, though, now that I think about it, I've only seen it in action once. I've given it out a few times, but I've only seen a player character use it once. This was to infiltrate some ships in a harbor. Their ships were all at anchor, so the idea was that this guy would be weighted down with his gear, etc. He would go into the water, he would walk across the bottom of the water, and then climb up the anchor chain in the time-honored staple. And it worked. It was a lot of fun because while he was on the ship creating distraction, the other players were able to come out by boat, and he had to hold his own for a little while, but he did. He did just fine. It was a fighter that infiltrated, and he didn't get caught at first on very lucky rolls, but then eventually he did, and then the other players in the group were already in a boat, hidden kind of around to the side, and they started pulling like crazy. So it was a few rounds that this player had to fight on his own, but then help came in, and the occasional early arrival of help came in the form of a fireball into the masts and stuff like that. So it was a neat distraction. I like this a lot. I think of Diver Dan from the old Garfield Goose show, and I just think of Diver Dan walking around with his big old helmet on, and I don't know, just lots of good weird memories attached to this particular device. I like it. I don't like that you don't get any kind of swimming or mobility with it. You need that from other sources apparently to make this work, and it's creating a globe of air around your head. To my mind, that means that there are bubbles popping up as you're moving across the water. So that could be a telltale for anything that's on the surface or just under the surface. Seeing the stream of bubbles come up from the air bubble around your head could be an interesting way to have various monsters find the person wearing the helmet and stuff. But this always just reminded me of the old diving helmets, like Diver Dan, and you would put the helmet on, weighted shoes, and you'd walk across the bottom and do whatever you had to do. Featured beautifully in the original Godzilla from 1954, where they used the diving suits to go into the water and release the oxygen destroyer and destroy Godzilla in the original film. Similar thing, and I have a feeling that that's where this came from, is the old diving helmets from many years ago, all the way up till scuba use became pretty popular in the late 50s, early 60s. The diving helmets were used quite a bit. But it's a good item. I like it. It's good for, as I've described it, for moving across a body of water unseen, possibly undetected with the telltale bubbles. You get 5 times normal vision for the water and light condition, which means you can be pretty far down and still see pretty well, which is good too. Pressure, of course, becomes a problem. If you're trying to do something very deep in the ocean, that can become a problem very quickly, and there's nothing in the magic that mitigates that. So, a lot of uses for this, but some pretty fair restrictions, which makes it a really good magic item in my opinion. And let's see what the experience points is. Experience points are Helm of Underwater Action, 1,000 experience points, 10,000 gold piece sale. That is amazing to me because you can breathe underwater. I know it's a magical land and blah, 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 but you can breathe underwater and that you only get 1,000 experience points for this, 10,000 to buy one of these things. I'd buy one of these things in a cold minute if I could just use my pool. But anyway, neat magic item. I do like it. I have given it out a few times. As I say, I only remember seeing it used once. There could be another time in there that I'm forgetting about. But the only one of consequence I saw was the earlier scenario I described. But that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Tell your friends to keep growing the channel. Also take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And that's it. I'll see you next time on page 121.